This is the case of a patient with a dual chamber ICD and with arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. We can see here on the plot a typical example of ventricular tachycardia with dissociation between a fast ventricular rate and a slow atrial rate. First, the ventricular rate is irregular. Each of the cycle classified as VS will reset the VT counter to 0. Then there is a stabilization of the ventricular rhythm. A burst is delivered with return to sinus rhythm. On the EGM, we can see that this is a real ventricular tachycardia with a ventricular rate faster than the atrial one. Here, the initial detection of the VT and then a burst is delivered. In dual chamber or triple chamber ICDs, the PR logic algorithm is used to discriminate between ventricular tachycardia and supraventricular tachycardias by using the relationship between the P and R wave events. The PR logic operates only on initial detection and not on redetection, and the PR logic operates only for rates below the programmed SVT limit. The functioning of the PR logic may seem quite complex. What you need to understand is that 6 criteria are continuously calculated, and these criteria are based on different analyses. First, the comparison between the atrial rate and the ventricular rate. Second, the analysis of the number and of the position of the atrial events relative to the ventricular events. The analysis of the association or dissociation of the atrial and ventricular events, then the regularity or irregularity of the ventricular rhythm, and last, the search for the presence of far-field R-wave oversensing at the level of the atrial channel. In this example, the diagnosis for the physician and for the PR logic is quite easy. Clearly, the ventricular rate is faster than the atrial rate. There is a clear dissociation between the atrial events and the ventricular events. So the diagnosis is VD for the physician and for the PR logic, and the first therapy is delivered. There are 3 distinct PR logic features that can be programmed to on: atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, sinus tach, and other one-on-one supraventricular tachycardias. The atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter feature has been designed to recognize conducted episodes of atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter. A conducted atrial fibrillation will be recognized through different parameters. First, the atrial rate will be faster than the ventricular rate, and the ventricular rate will be irregular. For the atrial flutter, it has been designed to recognize feature with a ratio on atrial and ventricular events 2:1 or 3:1. The functioning of the sinus tach feature is quite complex and will be explained through a typical example. The other one-to-one SVTs feature has been designed to discriminate between ventricular tachycardia and supraventricular tachycardia like junctional tachycardia, where the atrial and ventricular events are more or less simultaneous.